All right.
Welcome back to the Fine Print. I'm Caleb Teskey. I'm back with Dusty Kenney from Cambridge Cannabis Company, Cambridge Cannabis Confections, for another chunk here. And Dusty, I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about setting up a dispensary. Especially, seems like you had a limited space and you were really trying to maximize it. And would you walk us through a little bit about how you sort of take care of those kind of security concerns and all that stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Well, if people don't know where we're opening up at, we're at 185 Church Street in Jeff. So in the old car wash. So it was before it was turned over, before Swish turned it over into a retail space. It was a 2-bay car wash with an office. So what we were working with, the third bay is still being rented out by other tenants. I believe the property management company is getting a tattoo artist to go in there.
Sick!
The first bay,
sick, dude.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with tattoo artists,
dude. That's
any
awesome.
kind of artist. I'm all about sharing space with.
Wow.
So, which actually leads to, we're planning on doing a huge mural on that building. So, that's kind of some of the ideas that we're kicking around. But back to out of fantasy land and back into what we got really going on. The first, I live in downtown Burlington. So when you come to the dispensary, the biggest thing for us was that we needed to have a separate space where you could go ahead and check ID, but get out of the rain, get out of the cold. And that's something that you see, in a lot of dispensaries you go to, pretty much kind of like a holding corral for customers from where you can check their ID and let them in. So with that small office space that we have in there, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and display glass, kind of have our head shop kind of be working out of there, that we're tentatively going by with the back bowls as the name of it. So we hope to have glass in there, have papers in there, have that be where our receptionist desk is to go ahead and check IDs, make sure that everyone comes in and sits is, over 21. Again, we want to go ahead and be as compliant with the law as we possibly can be. Then from that space, you actually walk into the actual dispensary, which has to let you in because of that wonderful security. We have to go ahead and take out these beautiful glass doors we have and put in a little bit more secure dooring. And that wonderful roll-up door that you seem to love so much is going to have to be bolted closed.
It's beautiful. Just for anyone watching this, it's a beautiful slide-up garage door that opens up onto like front. Well, you got some rocks out, some gravel out there. You could easily put some tables out there for some seating. Boy, that seemed unfortunate to me.
Yeah, I agree. But again, you got to do what you got to do for the safety compliance, and just to make sure that everything is as safe as possible. I don't know what the difference of bolting that door does compared to just not opening it, but it's either way. It's a fine for us because it lets in such good light in there. Our colors are going to be copper and black and gold. Copper, black, and green. And so our idea is in there, when you walk in on the left, you're going to go ahead and have the open light, and then we're going to have a display case. And that's where we're going to go ahead and have pretty much our smelling jars of everybody's cannabis. And again, we really want to carry everybody in the state that's the finest cannabis that we can possibly find. So anybody out there from level 1 on up, if you feel that you have the best cannabis in the state, please come find me. If you think you have the second best cannabis in the state, please come find me. I would love to go ahead and try your product and see if we can find some shelf space for you. And so you're gonna have that big sniffing array right there. And then we'll have glass, we'll have other displays set out. But one thing that we're gonna do that I hadn't seen done a lot before in other dispensaries I've gone to is we're actually gonna have a full bakery chill case and a full frozen food section. My wife has messed around with different things, including medicated mozzarella sticks, medicated meatloafs. So we, again, with that idea of making a meal that can go ahead and be medicated, but you can serve to everybody and be a low dosage, not even teaching you how to cook that. How about this? We'll have it in our freezer section. So, if you need a 50 milligram meatloaf, please stop by and grab one on your way home.
I'd like to talk more about the cheese sticks.
The cheese sticks are in development, and I have to say that it has been a very, very good.
There goes the sound again. Get that sound back. Come on with the sound, Dusty. There we go. I heard noise. No, nothing.
There yet?
There we go.
All right.
We were talking about cheese sticks.
You want to talk about cheese sticks? All right.
No.
Mainly the biggest thing to think about is that my wife has put up with me for years, maybe doing a few too many dabs and sitting around and being like, can you medicate that? Can you medicate that? And her answer is always yes. It has taken a while on some things. Beef jerky took 2 years. But she's pretty darn good at this game nowadays. And so we started talking about what are those decadent things that you kind of always want to have, for like bar food? What are those things that you're thinking about that you're like, if I could just go ahead and munch on 2 of these and have a groovy night, I'd be all right.
Cashews.
Ooh, cashews, huh? I'm
going to throw cashews out there, Dusty.
So then this is me writing a check that my wife's ass has got to cash. We can go ahead and cash you by next week.
Right.
And that's how it starts. That's really been the fun of this experience, and having such a great partner that I have is that, we're smokers, we're stoners that come up with fun ideas, and we're thinking about these things. Back in the day, we were the ones that were like, you know what, when we're making grilled cheese on the lot, what we should do is we should have, medicated and unmedicated. We've always thought about that idea of things. And we plan on going ahead and pushing that envelope a little bit further with the bakery. We really want to get people into more savory things and more things that are going to be something that you have never thought about having medicated.
And the pantry right across the road or whatever, that gas station, the store I'm talking about, mm-hmm. They get a ton of traffic, and they're always selling cheesecakes and different types of baked goods.
Now, by all means, they kill it. I can never touch them, and I eat too many of their wraps by far. But again, that idea of, if I'm going to go ahead and medicate and I'm going to eat dinner, why don't I medicate and eat dinner?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe you could sneak a couple of your edibles over into their shop.
I think the state would frown on that.
Later on.
Yes. And someday, I really hope that Vermont becomes what we thought it would be. Again, I've ventured my foot in the cannabis, in all kinds of cannabis type ventures in other states. I've played this game in a lot of different states and chose to come back to Vermont because I really do. Vermont's my mecca. I love this state. I love the people here.
Even though you said it was harder here.
Oh, it is, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it's harder.
Still came back.
Yeah. This place during COVID, it makes you wake up and realize what's important in life, and why go where we spend our weekends coming over here to vacation. And actually, I have a friend that health-wise wasn't doing too well, and we were coming over here as often as we possibly could. And then they said that out-of-staters weren't allowed in Vermont, and that was the hair that broke the camel's back. We were like, we got to move back to Vermont because I don't ever want the chance of me not to be allowed to be back in Vermont. And it just made us wake up to what we really wanted in life. And I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm on this adventure with everybody. It's the other states, it's way more cutthroat. You wouldn't have this aspect of everyone is in it together and we really want all of us to succeed. You don't have that in other places. I mean, even in the sesh markets and the legacy stuff that was going on in other states, it was cutthroat. You come out with a product, someone's trying to copy your product the next week, and it's was really cutthroat like that. I don't see that in Vermont. I don't see that happening where it's going to be, I feel we're all going to play in the sandbox well for the first couple of years. Let's get real. It'll get ruthless someday.
Mm. Well, I wish it wouldn't.
I wish it wouldn't.
It doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
Now you're also going to have this glass shop, which seems like a very and first of all, I wanted to mention you're in a very convenient location, man. Right on the base, going up to Smugs there. That is a highly trafficked location, and you also going to have a glass shop. Now, do you need an extra license to own a glass shop?
You need a tobacco license.
Okay.
So that's the license you need for that, to sell papers.
To sell papers and glass pipes.
I don't know about the glass pipes, but I know for the papers, you had to have the tobacco license. And again, how do you go ahead and have a shop that sells cannabis products without selling papers? Everybody has their own. What paper I like is not the paper that 20 other people are going to like. Again, the paper game is ridiculous. You can never have enough papers because somebody always wants something you don't have. But you kind of have to have that. I mean, let's think about this. If you come and buy hash, but you can't get a hash pipe, what's the hash going to do for you? We're past soda cans, please. Let's think about this and treat it like what it is. So we should have, if you're going to get medicine, you should be able to go ahead and get the proper utensils to use that medicine.
Hey, and I noticed at the Burn Gallery, he switched all his signs to like, these products are definitely for cannabis use, which was cool because for so long it was like, hey, this is for tobacco use only. And he said, who's taking bong hits of tobacco?
Those guys have been great for what they've done for the community. In the age of prohibition was amazing. Really not enough shouts go out to the people that, really struggled on that line of just trying to go ahead and provide a service to us and got so much heat from the other side. You really can't. And I hope the best for them. I really hope that they just crush it in this market because they deserve it.
Let me ask you this, Dusty. You're right next to the police station. Does that worry you at all?
No, that's actually an added bonus for us. I want to be as close to as we possibly can. Again, I'm running a business, and a business that has to have insurance. Insurance is cheaper the closer I am to the fire department, the closer I am to the police department.
Is that true?
It's true in all insurances.
Really?
It's okay. All about response times.
Wow.
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's a very safe, again, we're in Vermont. It's a safe place. But people are going to be people. And unfortunately, bad people do bad things. I like having, a shared, their parking lot is right next to ours. I like it. And again, you're not allowed to consume on premises. So it's not like we have to worry about anybody leaving and getting something for, driving under the influence.
Would you prefer if people could consume on premises?
Oh yeah. If I had a choice, I mean, for years I managed and worked in bars. I love the social aspect of bars. Don't love the drinking aspect as much anymore. And the problems that it presents. I would much rather have a place where we can go and watch live music and go ahead and recreate and enjoy. I would love that. That'd be a dream. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. So hopefully the state will realize that that's actually a safe business to get into and will allow us to go ahead and really develop that. And I think we can do that in a proper way where we stay in code with everything else, just outdoor smoking sections, even mocktails. Again, if we do it proper, we can go ahead and make sure no one's getting too wasted.
Do you think that's important? It seems like maybe responsible use is something in the cannabis industry that hasn't been addressed that much. It's been more of a thrust of let's get this legal. How do you feel about the subject of responsible use?
Again, I'm really big on the idea of everyone needs to find out what their tolerance is and to stay within their means. And unfortunately, with anything, your tolerance is you got to find out where your comfort zone is. I think that we need to make sure that there's a level of comfort zone for everybody, and everyone's got to feel comfortable enough to slowly get to where they need to be. Don't go ahead and jump in the lake and say I'm going to swim to Plattsburgh. You know, try swimming out to a boat first. You know, like you got to kind of take things in. And I say this to everybody that I seem to run into nowadays, that everyone wants to run real fast on this, but they want to just eat too much of the pie at once. You can't do that. You got to take small bites. Find out what this does. You know, if you've never taken cannabis, go with a 1-for-1. That should be your starting point. And maybe even go only 2 milligrams for 2 milligrams. You know, or even go 10 CBD to 1 THC. That 10 to 1 might be the way for you to start going in. That's what I'd recommend for like my grandma. Now, me on the other hand, I do 3 or 4 dabs, in the morning just to get my anxiety under control. So it's different for everybody on how they medicate, but you got to find that out on your own. And I think your best way to do that is having a nurse or someone that you can talk to that can really help guide you on that path so that you don't feel that you're doing something that's hurting yourself.
Have you ever had a nurse that you've gone to that has talked to you about cannabis?
Yes.
Yeah, really?
I've been very open about my cannabis use my whole life, at least ever since I got out of the military. I have been, and I've always spoken that this is what I do. And I've never felt I had to hide it, which is something that I always thought was a little strange. I always felt I had to hide how much I drank. If they said how many beers you have in a day, I always felt like, what do you think's appropriate? Okay, that's how many.
How many is too many? I had less than that.
Exactly, I had less than. And with my cannabis use, I was always like, no, this is how much cannabis I use, and this is me. This is how I am. Yeah, you would normally think that someone that uses as much cannabis as me is melted in their couch, but that's not the way cannabis works. But again, if I eat 25 milligrams of an edible, I'm on my couch zoning out.
25 milligrams, huh? That's about my comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm a
20 to 30.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I've met guys who said they eat a 500 milligram chocolate bar like in the morning to get up. Like that would kill me. That would probably.
And again, your body processes it differently. Yeah. And
I've never tried that much in my life. I ate 100, and that was way too much, and it made me uncomfortable. I don't like
an old school term.
I don't like being that high. I like to get high, but I don't like being that high. That's uncomfortable.
Well, I think a lot of us medicated for a reason. There was something that we were going after when we first started smoking. Well, not when we first started smoking, but after we smoked for a while. There's something about smoking that we enjoy, that we're going after, that we're craving. And for a lot of that is medicine. If that's what you need, like for me to get my anxiety down and to get my mind to actually slow down so I can think about 1 or 2 things instead of 9 billion things. Like we talked about, at 5:30, I'm answering emails, I'm doing this because this is when my mind wakes up and it just keeps going. So I got to slow that down with cannabis for myself. For me to get enough, get over the anxiety of actually going someplace and leaving the house takes a certain level of medicine, and it used to be like Xanax. That used to be my go-to. It was, you had to have 2 Xanax in the morning just to go ahead. And once I started to feel them, I'd have it with my coffee. Once
you had Xanax in the morning.
What?
You had Xanax in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would wake up so bad in the morning from anxiety that I'd already be worked up. Like my day would be ruined. And that's how I started my mornings. And then by the end of the day, you're so doped up that you ended up going to sleep, and then only to wake up the next day in those terrors of being like, oh, my life's over, everything's terrible, everything's ruined.
Wow. And the cannabis helped you transition off of that.
Yeah. So what actually happened is I moved from California to New York. And when I was in New York, California had a much more liberal laws on prescription drugs. And I got to New York and they did not, but they had they had their medical marijuana program. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and get my medical card and get off, the Xanax. And they weren't as helpful with that as you would think they were. And I ended up going ahead and quitting cold turkey. And it was a rough couple weeks. Didn't leave the house, but I started growing again. Started smoking a lot more. And with growing, when you're trying to run a grow and not sell anything for money, it's not cheap. So all of a sudden it came down to, how do I use every single thing I can possibly use? And that's when I first started making wax. And that's when I started dabbing, because my wife prefers to smoke flower. So I'd smoke the wax because it would save us money. I noticed after 2 hits of wax, all of a sudden I was a little bit calmer. I could go ahead and think about leaving. I could think about the world's not crashing down. Like everything.
Is your anxiety that bad?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I without cannabis and anything else, it'd be a rough go. So, I've noted as you get older, you figure this stuff out. And even my drinking to this day is mainly done by anxiety. If I'm not anxious about something, I don't turn to it. And if I am anxious, I'll pick up a drink. And then, it's just the natural, easy thing of.
Yeah. There's always a good reason to drink. It's a shitty day. It's a good day. It's a whatever day. Yeah.
How about this? So a lot of people that seem to have anxiety, this is one of the things that telltale cursor. You walk into a place, and let's say you don't see your people that you're going to meet or anything else. You go straight into your phone. So my phone first comes out because I can go ahead. It's a safety blanket. I'm in there. I don't see the anxiety around me. I just see what's in my phone. And that's just a coping mechanism I've used. And it's funny because once I see other people that do it, I ask them about it. They're like, yeah. But again, you find what works for you. And for me, I found that dabs seemed to go ahead and cut that down for me. And I was able to flow through society.
I do like a dab. It took me a while to come on to the dabs. I'm a joint smoker traditionally, but boy, it's nice. I like efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
It gets the job done. I wanted to circle back to this thing about being next to the police station. Have you talked to any of the cops over there about what you're doing?
No.
Nope. Okay. Would you be open to that if they came? Yeah.
Again, open books. We got nothing to hide. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to go ahead and open up a legal cannabis dispensary, and we'd love for them to come by as customers or as just interested guests. We appreciate what they're doing, which is a weird thing to say after the years that came before this, but they do a service for us that's amazing that I wouldn't be capable of doing. So my applause to them. We're not here to make their jobs harder or add any more work to their jobs. We're actually, hoping to go ahead and create some tax revenue that can go ahead and put some more money in their coffers.
Well, it's mighty nice of you.
I don't think they'll give me the option.
Now, did you guys have to have a fire marshal come through and do an inspection?
We still have to have a fire marshal come through and do an inspection. That seems to be everyone's big holdup right now is fire marshals.
Do you know the local fire marshal?
Our builder does.
Okay.
So, and our builder is in contact with him. Hopefully, again, with the dispensary, we got a little bit more time.
Right. So you guys get the last crack at licenses, really, right? Aren't they rolling those out in September?
Yeah. So, I mean, we got.
Right. And let me ask you this. Do you think a month is enough time to let you guys get prepared?
No, not for the amount of time we knew this was coming. Not at all. I mean, I don't think anyone could say that it is enough time. I would be surprised to see anybody come out and say, yeah, I think we rolled this out perfectly. It didn't, and that's okay. It's all right. It's the more important thing about this is making sure that we keep it Vermont rather than making sure we make it perfect right off the bat. Let's keep it Vermont companies, Vermont people, and keep it Vermont values. Again, someday I hope that they don't need to come to a dispensary. I hope that the whole dispensary model is obsolete because you just got to go to the farmer's market.
Really?
Yeah, I would be a terrible business owner, but my dreams as a cannabis consumer would come true if you could go ahead and walk down and find cured stocks of cannabis at the farmer's market the last week in October. Like that's what it is. I mean, you can't say that it's any more dangerous than garlic scapes.
I admire your honesty there, sir.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the idea is it's not about making money off the plant. It's making sure that proper medicine gets into proper hands. The only way to do that is by opening up retail shops.
Now, can I ask you, who are some other people in Vermont maybe that we should be on the lookout for, or folks that you might have your eyes on?
That are, how do you mean? People that are going to
maybe folks that you're considering selling at your retail operation. I don't want to blow up your spot if you don't want to answer that. That's cool.
Again, I plan on carrying everybody that gets licensed product. I really would love to go ahead and carry Chris's stuff from Freedom Flower. Nick's stuff is flawless. I mean, Burn stuff, Tito stuff's amazing, as you said. You said Tito stuff's the best you smoked so far.
I can't deny that.
So how can I not have Tito stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I might have to go buy it at Burn myself and bring it back over, but whatever I got to do to have the best.
So you're looking to partner with a lot of local Vermont guys?
Yes. Again, I want our store shelves to be equal. I don't want a whole line of this is what we did. This is our products. I want someone to walk in and be like, oh shit, this is Vermont. This is what Vermont has to offer. I don't want it to be, how you walk into a sugar shack and some sugar shacks just only carry their sugar. And so they only have what sugar products they make. That's not fair. I want all the sugar products. When I walk into a sugar shack, I want to see creamies. I want to see, regular sugar. I want CBD sugar. I want the ability for my palate to enjoy everything. And that's kind of our job as dispensary owners, is to try to fill that table and offer it up to our guests. And as you said, our location is perfect for guests. I mean, if you're going to Smugs, you might as well grab a pre-roll.
You're going to drive by there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm working on a packaged hot chocolate recipe.
Ooh.
So that all you have to do is add it to hot water.
You really had some of the most interesting edible ideas that I've heard of so far.
Yeah.
Steak
we smoke a lot over here at this household.
Listen, Dusty, we got about 10 minutes left here. I want to open it up for you. If you have anything that you'd like to address, any concerns maybe with some of the rules that are making your life harder, or any shout outs you'd like to give, I'm going to open this up here. And boy, I really like that painting. I'm hoping you'll tell me what that painting is behind you.
Oh, that's Camel's Hump.
Yeah. Who did that?
So it's a friend that actually passed away a few years ago. It was actually in another friend's backpack while he was living out in the woods. And I decided that he needed to go ahead and get it out of his backpack and put it on a wall. So it's been on my wall until he gets a home of his own. Hopefully with legal cannabis, he'll have his own home here at the end of the year, and I'll have to find a new painting.
That's beautiful. So
again, the idea is to help as many people as you can. We're all entering this industry ourselves. And so the more that we can all stick together and make it a community thing and really make it so that, Vermonters can rise up and cash in on this. I mean, so many people got effed over with CBD. So I hope that some of that money can flow back in. Hopefully we can go ahead and start buying up some dairy farms.
Can I ask you? Oh, I meant to ask you about the 280E tax code nonsense. Can we talk about that for a minute, please?
Sure.
I'm gonna let you be the guest of honor on that one.
So pretty much what it is as a dispensary owner, we cannot write anything off. So everything after the sales is going to be considered profit. So we can't write off our labor, which is the biggest thing. Because to run a dispensary properly, at least with the layout that I've set up, it's going to take about 4 bud tenders. And actually, that's not even 4 bud tenders, 1 security person, 2 bud tenders, and 1 packager. The 1 packager being in the safe room, so they can go ahead and make sure everything's safe and sealed up. But that's a decent amount of labor hours, especially when we're hoping to be open from 8 to 8, 7 days a week. That is a lot of labor money that we're going to be spending that we can't write off in the end. It's a lot of money that we're going to be putting into the community, because let's get real, we're going to be paying people in the community to work these jobs. It's not like we're bringing in people from outside the state, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the best bud tenders we can possibly have too. So we're going to pay a competitive wage. We're planning on starting all of our employees at $20 an hour, working up quickly from there. 2 weeks paid time off, and then also a Smugs pass for anybody that goes ahead and works more than 18 hours a week. So normally we'd be able to write that stuff off, because that'd be our benefits for our employees. That's what we're doing for our employees, and unfortunately we can't.
So normally you can write off benefits.
Yes.
Okay.
So and your hourlies and what you'd pay your employees.
Oh.
So we are not able to do that.
I'm told the tax difference from that would make your effective tax rate up to 70%.
Yeah. Depending on how much labor.
Wow.
So, which causes a problem that I don't think that people thought about when thinking about. And
it feels like discrimination against cannabis companies. Business. Right, I know, and it's federally illegal. So that is the stipulation for how they've made all these other regulations, it seems.
Yeah, they don't like us. We're used to that. If you're not used to that, get used to it. It's not going to change. That's the way it's going to be. So the best thing you can do is try to go ahead and run as lean and mean as you possibly can. My worry about running lean and mean is the safety of the associates. Because now all of a sudden, if it comes down to, as an owner has to decide, do I keep paying, do I run $100 an hour in payroll, or do I try to get that down to $20 an hour in payroll? And then what's the safety of that employee running a location?
And what kind of service are your customers getting?
Exactly. So all of a sudden, are we going to end up like some of these corporate convenience stores we see around that have 5 self checkouts and 1 person back there on their phone?
Yeah, just
that's not what we're going to do. So then you got to go ahead and choose where you're going to be at. Are you going to go ahead and take the hit and just have to know that you're running with an unbelievable small margin and hope everything corrects itself? Or do you go ahead and run lean and mean? I'm choosing to take the hit. That's my choice. But I don't know if everyone has that ability to take that choice.
I also don't know that. That's a good question.
And again, with I love our police forces in this state, but they are spread thin. So luckily I'm next door to a police station. But let's say you got a place that's out in John.
Oh, there goes your sound. Right at 420, we lost it again. We got 420 left, Dusty. Get it back so I could say goodbye. We could have a final note. Wait.
All right.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. I'll edit that shit out. Don't worry about it.
So, I mean, again, the idea, what it comes down to is, where are people going to start cutting corners? And that's all this stuff does. I mean, let's not act like it's to protect anything. It's just going to go ahead and make us streamline, and it's going to deteriorate from customer service, which I think we already see in every other form of retail. We don't have to do it.
Which is a damn shame, because I feel like in this kind of line of work, you really need some customer service to say, hey, maybe don't take that dab, or hey, maybe don't, eat so many edibles. Like, we need educated people to make sure that the consumers are not overindulging, as it were.
If the way that we're going to have our bud tenders trained, which we're going to go ahead and definitely have some help in that. Jesse Lynn's going to help us with that.
Oh, very cool.
We want everyone trained at the same level. We want someone to come in and say, hey, I feel like this, and this when I eat this. We don't want to be like, all right, let me upsell you on the most expensive stuff. That's why you got to go ahead and provide that customer service. You got to walk them through. If we did that with alcohol, would we be in the same position we are with alcohol? I mean,
I know, and a point that they made was like, yo, you should ask people when they come in, how many times have you smoked? Like, what is your experience level? And if I had to do that at the bar when I was bartending, it would be a very different experience. I would be quizzing a lot of people. I don't know if I would have time to do that in my day. I don't. Our restaurant's very busy, but like, if I had to stop and ask every person, like, okay, how many times have you drank? Have you ever got way too drunk? Like, although I think that is a great idea, and it would really help keep people safe.
That's the thing, though. Has anyone? They've only trained you on when people have been overserved or look overserved. Right. They've never trained you on the explanation of why and how people are going to be overserved.
Right. Well, I got that training in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I
taught me shit.
That's how I got it with alcohol, was drinking too much of it. Or over-serving people, You work at that bar and you're like, yeah, man, we got $1 tequila shots tonight. This is going to be great. No, it's going to suck. It's going to be horrible. So, it's that idea that you kind of learn, but your trained professionals should be trained professionals. Dusty, and if we got to start cutting corners.
We got 60 seconds. Do you have any final thoughts here?
Final thoughts.
60 seconds. Go.
I hope everybody goes ahead and makes it to the finish line. I hope everybody gets licensed. I have faith that we're going to get through all of our licensings, and everything's going to happen on time, October 1st. Hopefully. So that's my only thing. Keep your heads up, and let's all play fair in the sandbox and enjoy each other's time. I mean, it's an exciting time, and every once in a while we need to take our heads up and be like, dang, we're here. We've done it. We've made it to legalization. We got recreational sales, and then we got to fix it. Nothing's perfect when we first roll it out.
Well, thank you for your time, Dusty. This has been fantastic, and I wish you the best, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. You have a great day, brother.